Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you're having a great Friday. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Chances are, if you're anywhere across the eastern U.S., except if you're unfortunately in Florida or areas in deep South Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, things like that, but anywhere else like South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and obviously much further north into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast, chances are you're feeling incredible fall-like conditions even this evening. This evening is an amazing night to just chill outside, have a fire, and watch some football. You know, it's just an amazing evening. It's been a great day, low humidity, and that will continue into tomorrow. And then as we get a little bit deeper into the weekend, the humidity will start to creep back in. But there is a chance for another cold front late next week. We'll talk about that in here in the coming days. But right now, we're going to give you an update on the tropics as you have Larry spinning away like crazy out here as it's going to try to get to major status. You have a couple more pieces of energy coming off North Africa we're going to briefly mention. And we have this area right here that I honestly really think it's going to affect areas of the Gulf states. Do I think it's going to be a hurricane? Absolutely not, but you can't rule out anything, right? It's the Gulf of Mexico. We saw it happen with Ida. We saw it happen with all the tropical systems last year with rapid intensification. But we'll mention this system does not have that. It's not going to have the environmental factors there for any kind of explosive development. Well, we're going to talk about it and talk about what we know. If you guys have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Like the video. It's just a matter of time before things pick up and things look threatening again. We're not done with Hurricane Center. I always say center. Hurricane season. We're not done with hurricane season. In fact, we hadn't even quite reached peak hurricane season yet, or the middle part of it. So we hadn't even hit that halfway point. So definitely hit the subscribe button. I'm also a storm chaser. I love getting out there and getting into the action. Like the video if you like it. Thank you all for the amazing support. So let's talk a little bit of weather on this Friday evening. As you can tell, it's the latest hurricane update. The latest update, the 8 p.m. You have this area of interest that has a 30% chance to develop in the next 5 days into a depression or storm. Then you have what you got. You pretty much got Hurricane Larry out there spinning away. It's a 100-mile-per-hour storm, 978 millibar low storm, and it will continue to intensify until it reaches major status probably sometime tomorrow. So is this going to be a threatening storm for Bermuda or Newfoundland? Well, I think the west trend has kind of stopped, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. You folks in Newfoundland or in just northeastern Canada in general, I think that y'all could have some impacts, but I don't think y'all are going to get a full-blown tropical system. But I'll show you here in the update. If y'all hear my kids in the background, it is Friday night. We're just up having a good time, excited about the weekend. So also I want to mention, if y'all saw my update this morning about me doing a kind of videos about college football, I do want to mention I'm probably going to be posting some videos of just my experience at these college football games. I'm a big-time Gamecock fan. I know Clemson fans, I know y'all don't want to hear that, but I'm not a hating fan. I don't talk crap. I don't do any of that stuff. I'm just not a big fan of it. So but I am planning on posting a couple college football videos over the fall, just a few. So anyways, let's get going. So this is the cone of uncertainty for Hurricane Larry. It's forecast to become a major hurricane sometime tomorrow. It will continue to move northwest in general, but notice how close Bermuda is here in the cone of uncertainty as you get into middle part to late part next weekend. I mean, this coming week. So you have to still watch out Bermuda because this could tick west a little bit. You are very close, but the storm is looking like it's going to go just east of y'all. But keep your head on a swivel with this. I'm telling you, because it could get dangerous here. We just do not know for sure. But this is Hurricane Larry right here. It is looking very good. It's having just that clear hurricane look to it. It's got a nice eye. It's in favorable conditions. The upper winds aloft. It has a nice outflow, are very favorable here. The sea surface temperatures are favorable, and it's pretty much got all the environmental conditions there for steady intensification, and will continue to do so here in the next few days. So look at the latest GFS and see what's going on here. Moving forward here, this is Larry. Obviously, it's a eyesore on the screen. I want you to check out this area over here. There's a small area right here that surges some tropical moisture into the panhandle of Florida, maybe Alabama. And we have to watch as it's going to try to develop into something upon approach to landfall. We'll have to watch that middle part to late part next week. At the same time, Hurricane Larry will be having its closest approach to the eastern U.S., which will not be close at all, but it probably will whip up some big-time swells late next week. So if you're going to be around the coastal areas, the East Coast just in general, you're probably going to have some big old waves out there to surf or mess around in, and the rip currents are probably going to be pretty brutal out there. So watch out for that. At the same time, you have this ridge of high pressure here, and this is ultimately what this Larry is doing, is riding west of that ridge of high pressure and squeezing between another trough that actually could bring us some more fall-like weather and keep the tropics, tropical threat away for at least a couple days. That's one good thing, is even though we're getting deeper into hurricane season and the more threatening part, the deeper you get into it, the deeper you get into the year. So the deeper you get into fall, so the more chances increase of fall cold fronts moving through. And when you have a cold front that clears the entire eastern U.S., it really takes out any kind of threat of any kind of tropical system. It acts as a steering current to push them away. So going forward here, it does get close on the latest GFS to affecting areas in Newfoundland. So you have to watch, because this would have some nasty impact, especially areas on the far eastern areas of Newfoundland. So watch out for this. But if you back it up here, check out the L, low pressure popping up as it's riding through the Big Bend and then over Florida and parts of Georgia. You got to watch right here, I would say Wednesday evening into Thursday, for something to quickly spin up here. So I'm not going to say we're going to have a tropical storm hitting the Gulf Coast next week, but I'm not going to say it's not impossible either. It's just an area we have to watch. I've said it many times before, and a lot of people have also. You cannot trust the Gulf of Mexico this time of the year. But if you look at the environmental factors in place, as far as development, here it is. There's the system right here. But check out all these shear in place here that's going to be hitting this storm hard as a cold front is trying to move through. I really think that this would kind of dampen any kind of rapid intensification for this storm here. Probably some dry air in place, and there's just not favorable basically there's not any kind of favorable upper wind patterns here in place that is going to promote any significant development. The upper winds aloft, and just there's no kind of anticyclonic flow to ventilate this storm like Ida, and just the environmental conditions in the Gulf of Mexico are really not very favorable. So you look at the latest GFS ensembles, it picks up on Larry here, down here. Obviously, it's a big-time eyesore. But you notice there's not really a big-time signal even in the Gulf of Mexico for that tropical system. There's a little bit of signal in here, but not much. But watch out in Bermuda, because there's still some storms hitting you guys and getting really close. Then it moves on out to sea. But you look at the latest European model, and it's about the same as the GFS. They're actually in very close agreement right here. It shows that tropical wave, tropical depression, tropical energy in general coming up into the Gulf states. Even if this doesn't develop, I think late next week there's going to be a lot of moisture that gets pushed into the eastern Gulf states, central to eastern Gulf states. So like Florida, maybe the coastal areas of Alabama, into Georgia. Needs to watch out for that. So we'll continue to watch that. But, the cold front clears, and look how clear next weekend potentially looks for the eastern U.S. except Florida. So next weekend might be another great weekend, just like this weekend. Maybe another cold front. So we'll have to watch that. You look at the latest SpaghettiOs. This is basically the European ensembles, but in circle form, if you will. Strong signal right there for Larry. Larry's going to develop into a monster of a hurricane, but fortunately it's going to stay out to sea. But Bermuda definitely has to watch this in areas of Canada. But you notice a little bit of signal in the Gulf of Mexico for that other system. So in general, what you can take away from this video is that you got to watch out for the Gulf of Mexico next week. But as far as any kind of Ida redo, no, not that kind of dangerous situation. But one thing I do want to mention is as Larry gets on out of here, the pattern in place in the tropical Atlantic as you get into the peak area of hurricane season, it doesn't look great as far as it doesn't look good as far as avoiding any kind of threatening scenarios. What I mean is, if you look, say, 9 to 10 days out, if you got any kind of waves coming off North Africa, you have to watch them here, because you have a ridge of high pressure right here, and it's pushing any kind of tropical energy and keeping it south. If it stays south down here, that means it becomes a threat for the Caribbean islands and the U.S. So that's just air things you have to watch. You have to watch out for that. So my girls are yelling and screaming, and it sounds like they're being bad for my wife. So I'm going to get off this video. There's not a whole lot of threatening things to worry about here, but y'all have a good night and have a great start to your weekend. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.